So we're going to begin. I'm going to start by just welcoming everybody here today. Thank you for joining us for the first of Towards Work CV Skills series. Over the next 3 weeks, we're going to be running 3 workshops focused on developing and improving your CV to help with job searching. Delighted to be welcoming the team from IDA Ireland today for our first session, Personal Statements and Your Strengths. So welcome Frank, Naya and Ashley. Today's session is really, all 3 sessions are going to connect and address different areas of building your CV that we feel are really important. First thing today, your personal statement and your own strengths. So being able to know your own worth, your own value, your own strengths is really important when putting together your CV, being able to connect the dots between what you offer as a person, as a professional, with what a company is looking for in the description of a role and the people that they want to have on their teams. So we think it's a really important piece to be able to start with. We're gonna really excited for this for the whole series, but especially today. So just a little bit of housekeeping, just to make everybody aware. As you come on, you'll have probably gotten the notification that this video and this session is being recorded today. So if there are any issues with regards being shown on screen or any concerns around that, feel free to message us or contact us at the end, and we'll be able to make some edits to make sure that that you're happy with the content. If there are any questions during the presentation, I might ask that you either hold them to the end when we'll have an opportunity for Q&A, or perhaps to put them into the chat function at the bottom of the screen as well, and that the team will then have the option to answer them at the time, or we'll be able to wait until the end. If there's anything else that pops up during the session, feel free to put that in the chat as well, or in a direct chat to either myself or Jessica, who's here as well today from the Open Doors team, is helping us run the session. So that's all the boring stuff. I will first actually just introduce myself, Patrick Flanagan from Towards Work. At the Open Doors, I'll describe myself. I'm a white male with slowly receding brown hair, and I'm wearing a grey t-shirt and a grey jumper today. And I'm just going to say again, thank you all for joining us, and I'm going to hand over now to Frank and the team for today's presentation.
Thanks, Patrick. Listen, thanks everyone for joining, and thanks to Open Doors for asking us to join the event. But myself, Naya and Ashley are all delighted to be here. So look, I think the structure that Open Doors have put on this is a really good one, which Patrick referred to. You know, right from the statement today and understanding your strengths, which is essentially your foundation, to the next stage about formalizing that or shaping that in the context of your CV and your cover letter. And finally, utilizing LinkedIn and other promotion techniques. So we're here today to discuss, obviously, discovering your personal value. And we all have value, and I will be coming back to that throughout today's session at regular intervals, okay? I might introduce myself first. I am male, late 40s. I'm well ahead of Patrick. My head is fully bald. I have a patterned black and white shirt, and I work in an office. I'm in the office here at the moment. Maybe a bit of background about me and why I'm here. And I'm not sure, Jessica, if the presentation can go up at this stage. Whilst that's happening, maybe I'll say, so I'm in HR maybe about 25 years. And during that time, and I've kept tabs on this roughly, I've done about 4,000 to 5,000 interviews, okay? To do 4,000 to 5,000 interviews, I've read a lot of CVs. You can multiply that by several factors, and therefore read a lot of personal statements. But I'm hugely passionate about growth of individuals and the value of individuals, and I firmly believe we all have value, okay? And as I'll go into as we go through this session, that value can be passed, but it can also be aspirational, okay? So we all look forward to working with you today. I'm joined by 2 of my colleagues who I'll ask to introduce themselves now. Firstly, Naya, and then Ashley. Over to you, Naya.
Hi, everybody. Really excited to be here. My name is Naya McGill, and I am the Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Lead in IDA. I am a white, mid-30s female. We'll say it's like a grayish blonde, short hair at the moment, but always subject to change. My hair changes like the Irish weather. I have blue eyes and I'm wearing red lipstick and a black shirt, and I am working from home today, but my background is blurred, so it's kind of a white, grayish blur, keeping with my hair thing. Aisling, over to you.
Thank you, Naya. My name is Aisling Dullen. I am female, mid-40s also. I think you said mid-40s, Frank, was it? So I'm mid-40s also. Bob hair, a cream and navy striped top. And I'm in the office today, again, with a blurred background.
Thanks, Naya, and thanks, Aisling. I'm just checking, Jessica, that I do have control of the slides. I don't think I do. Could you go to the next one, Jessica? And the next one, and the one after that. Yeah, that's perfect. So look, I think it's always good to start a session by understanding what we're hoping to achieve. And, you know, for us today, it's about the fundamentals and the basics of understanding what a personal statement is. Why should you have one? How long should it be, or how short should it be? How you might start going about putting that statement into place and writing it, and what should be included in that. And the format for today, we will have 2 breakout sessions. The first will be focused largely on your personal strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, particularly, and all of those form your value. Okay, and we'll help you extract that value. As I said, Naya, myself, and Aisling will be facilitating groups of, I don't know, 4 or 5 each, and we'll be working with you on those. So our hope is when we go into breakout session 2, we'll have established that value, and you will have realized some of that value, and that by the breakout 2, we'll be able to structure that value in the context of your statement. That being, who am I? My suitability and value, and my career goals. Okay. Now, I just want to clarify at this stage with everybody that I'm being heard well, and that everyone's seeing the PowerPoint. Is that okay? Great. Okay, can we move on to the next one? So again, just to summarize, I'll start by going through the personal statement basics, framing your value. The breakout 1 will be SWOT. We'll then start to build the structure on the personal statement, and I have a few examples I want to share with you about the structure of the personal statement, some really good ones that I've picked out. And breakout 2 will go into building that personal statement again with the help of your facilitator. We'll go into a very short summary and then Q&A. Okay. The other thing, and you can move on to the next slide, Jessica, thanks. The other thing I will say is, and I'll be repeating it towards the end, we're on a timeline today, and we hope to get as much as we can achieved within those 2 breakout sessions. But if we don't get your personal statement finished, our personal commitment to you, and that personal commitment extends from Naya, myself, or Aisling, who will be your facilitators, is that you will have our email address afterwards, and you can set up a one-on-one session so that we make sure that by the time you transition into the vertical 2 of this skills series, okay, that you will be ready with your personal statement to go into the CV and cover letter. Okay, so thanks, Jessica. So what is the personal statement? It's a short personal summary that is the essence of you. Okay, recruiters will have a huge number of CVs to go through. They will want to understand you in a snapshot. Okay, and what we want to achieve today is have a personal statement that effectively frames your value. Okay, now your value is not fixed, your value is not constant. Okay, so it may be that we get to a stage where we say, here's your full statement and it's 150 words, but that might be a generic one, and when you're applying for a very specific one later on, we may have to adapt some words. Why do we adapt words? Because we have to capture your value in the context of specific jobs you want to go for. So we have to show that you're making the effort to extract from the job description the value that they want and match it effectively to your own value. Okay, so why should you have one? It should be clear in that you're selling yourself to potential employers. Nobody else is going to sell you, so you've got to do it. Okay, And we need you to stand out from the crowd, and we'll look at later at some techniques to do that. So we're saying approximately 150 words or 4 to 5 lines in terms of what your personal statement should look like. Okay. I can tell you from personal experience that longer statements are not as impactful. You may have your own personal story and a lot more information that you want to get across, and that probably belongs in a cover letter. Okay. But this is not a cover letter. This is your foundation, and we will build from that foundation. Thanks, Jessica. So as we build out the structure, there are 3 obvious kind of areas we will be utilizing, and you'll see it clearly in breakout session 2. The first is, if you're to build out a personal statement, you need to say, who are you? Who am I? Okay, we'll show you how to do that. What can you offer? This is a lot of the value that you will be extracting from your personal SWOT with the help of our facilitators. And then finally, what are your career goals? Okay. Stating your career goals is also part of your value, even though it's futuristic. Okay. By the way, just while I'm on this, one of the most, and I'm slightly straying away from the personal statement, one of the most common things I've seen in my career in terms of what people have left at the table from after an interview is the fact that they have not said that they want the job. So when you are at an interview, make sure you do not leave the table without saying how much you want that job. It is a really common thing that people forget to address. So it's an easy win. Make sure you say it. Okay. So how do you start writing your statement? Firstly, focus on the purpose to demonstrate your value. So again, we're going to try and create that value. And we're going to try and start with a line that grabs their attention, sparks interest or curiosity. Okay. And provide a little bit of detail, but like I said, not too much. We don't want to stray into waffling. Okay. And we'll move on to the next one. Thanks, Jessica. So before we kind of go into the breakout sessions, the do's and don'ts. So the do's for me are get to the point. If you're highlighting your value, make sure you're not wasting space. Just get to the point. Make sure you answer the 3 questions. Okay, who am I? What's my value? And what do I want? And add that value, tailor to each position. Like I said, it's not static. You will need to tailor your personal statement to each application. It may be that 80% of your personal statement stays approximately the same, but if you don't make the effort to tailor a certain aspect of your personal statement to the job on offer, then you're losing out. Okay. So as it says there, use the job description to match. Use keywords or phrases like successfully developed, proven, track record, experienced professional, delivering, hardworking, etc., and really strong, positive, affirmative words. So the opposite, I guess, not being too generic and avoiding cliches, focusing on yourself. Focus rather on the skills that you bring rather than yourself as a person. Okay. Again, we've talked already about the cover letter. You may have a lot to say in a cover letter, and you should use it effectively. That's the next session. We're going to focus on a very brief personal statement. And I guess in the context of going forward, but also today, read it out loud. If you get to a stage during breakout 2 where you've got the guts of a statement, read it out loud. See how it sounds. See how it sounds to others. Okay. One of the key things to watch out for is using inconsistent tenses. Okay. And make sure you have spell check, etc. Okay. Obviously using acronyms, things like YOLO, which I only learned recently what it is, would not be ideal. Okay, I'm sure we'll probably get to a stage down the line where stuff like that is acceptable. We're not quite there yet. Okay. So personal statement basics, that's that done. If we want to move on to selling your value, Jessica. So to be able to sell your value, you have to understand your value. And like I said, your value will evolve as you develop personally, professionally, within your career, and your personal statement will develop accordingly, okay? Your future, as I said, also has value. We are in a market, a jobs market that is close to or at full employment. Employers are increasingly looking to hire largely for the right attitude and to develop those candidates within a business. So stating your aspirations in terms of job career are really important, okay? Okay, moving on to skills and attributes. So it's really critical for you to frame your value with the right professional words, okay? And we'll help you with that today. As we go into our first breakout, we look to capture positive language around your own skills and attributes. So skills are what you can do, like problem solving, researching, planning, keeping records, etc. Attributes describe how you do it, okay? Things like conscientious, flexibility, self-confidence, empathetic, etc. These are all words which I hopefully will be able to bring to your personal statement and are very positive language, okay? Moving next slide, thanks Jessica, into the personal SWOT examples. So the next breakout session, the first one rather, will be on working with Naya and Aisling and myself on your personal SWOT. What I wanted to do before we go into that is look at strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. These are just some examples. They're not, I'm not saying they're you. These are just some examples, okay? I'd like you to work with your facilitator on your own personal ones, okay? So a strength could be an education, a certificate in X or Y, that you have facilitation skills, that you have worked within a sports environment and you found that you're a good motivator. So we'd like you to work with your facilitator to explore all of these. And again, in the context of the jobs market and hiring for attitude, it's really important that you state that even if you don't have something now, you have either enlisted on a course, or you're going to enlist on a course, or you have strong intentions around building a career in a certain area, okay? Employers are really willing to work with you on these. So in terms of some opportunities, new network, word of mouth. In terms of development areas, it might be a specific area of Microsoft Office or Excel, but all of these are opportunities and we can find value in everything, okay? So if we go on to the next slide, which is the blank SWOT analysis, this is what we'll be asking you to do and to populate for us, working with the facilitator you're assigned. So all you need really is a piece of paper, blank piece of paper, a pen, and literally draw a large plus sign in the middle with strengths in the upper left quadrant, weaknesses, development areas, upper right, etc., and opportunities and threats down the bottom. Your facilitator will start working with you on those, and hopefully, and I'm looking at time, maybe take 20 to 25 minutes on this one, and then come back and summarize. So I'm going to hand over to Jessica, and Jessica's going to manually assign some groups, and the goals for these groups is to work on your personal strengths and capture those, and don't forget to keep them. We will be utilizing them later, okay, as we go through the final breakout session. Thanks, folks. I'll see you on the other side. Hey, everyone, welcome back. How you doing? Good to see all the videos on. Thanks for that. I hope you were able to explore your own value in the context of your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and start to form an understanding of that as we move forward into breaking down that in the context of your personal statement, okay? So where are we? Can we go up back, Jessica, to the presentation whenever you're ready?
There we go.
Thanks, Emil. So what we'll do now is, look, we've understood the strengths, opportunities, threats, weaknesses, etc. maybe understood a bit more about our value, and that even our weaknesses and opportunities are value, okay? And we're going to try and translate that into some type of structure for the personal statement. So if we can go on to the next slide, and this will be a very brief section before we go back into our breakout rooms again. And hopefully Jessica will be able to assign the same people so we can transfer the value and understanding into the next breakout. So as I said, there's three distinct areas that we want to break out your statement into. The first, and we'll use this format through the examples that will follow, is who am I, okay? And I've picked out a few examples, and you'll see this knit together in the context of one or two of the examples that we'll look at in the next few slides. So I am a highly motivated and hardworking individual who's recently completed X qualification in Y, okay? Left that open, obviously, for input. My suitability and value, and again, a lot of this is the piece where you're extracting from your SWOT analysis. Passionate about helping clients, customers, individuals, and solving problems that they may have. I'm a great communicator over the phone, face-to-face, and email. I strive to work well under pressure and love to keep myself and workflow organized. So look at that value in the context of maybe a call center customer service person, okay, who does have to engage with people over the phone, face-to-face sometimes, albeit virtually, and via email. Stating that value is critical. So I just wanted to maybe match that to a job, just to show you, to maybe illustrate that for you in a greater way. So in terms of the career goals, which is your close on your personal statement, I'm seeking an apprenticeship, work experience, or a career in customer service or retail industry, as I have a keen interest in a career within client service, customer service, etc. And again, you can insert as appropriate, but it's a really strong to close off with your career goals. And as I said before, your career goals can be your aspirations, and they also represent value, particularly in this marketplace. Might go to the next two examples. Jessica, when you're ready. So again, sticking with that format of who am I, my suitability and value, and my career goals, and we've kept it color coded accordingly. So I think the first one is around a recent graduate. The second one is around a returnee to the workforce who's been maybe out for a while. Okay, so first one, who am I? I'm a recent graduate from university, honors degree, held several internships, placements within leading organizations, including X. We might go back. Yeah, thanks.
Sorry.
So, pleasure. Cheers. These placements enable me to gain experience in the field of communications and learn how to serve up valuable contributions in a fast-paced professional environment. Keeping it very simple to close in this one, seeking to develop a career in X or Y. Okay. Now, somebody, and it does happen, who has left the workforce through illness, through caring responsibilities, whatever. Okay. Highly motivated and experienced office administrator. I'm currently looking to resume my professional career after a hiatus due to care, etc. Proficient in Microsoft programs, can lead meetings, work with clients to keep your office running smoothly and efficiently. After spending several years volunteering as an admin worker for a local charity, I'm committed to resuming my professional career on a full-time basis. So clearly stated who they are, clearly stated their value, and clearly stated to any potential employer that they're committed to resuming their career on a full-time basis. Okay. Moving over to the final example, and I really like this example. I thought it was a really good example. Again, sticking with that structure of who am I, my suitability and value, and my career goals. So I picked this out in particular because I thought it represented a really strong example of framed value. And I was just talking with my own group around the closing part of your statement having a strong alignment with the strategy of an organization. Okay, so I think we can all agree that organizations need customers, so they want to retain them. Okay, so confident and energetic customer service professional, passionate about serving customers, strong opening statement about who you are. through previous experience in customer service. You're saying you have the experience. I've learned to thrive in challenging and fast-paced environments. Again, you're matching to the environment. Able to interact freely with customers and resolve issues. Again, all centered on key competencies around customer service. Now looking for a rewarding position where I can serve customers and increase customer retention. I just think this is a really good one. Okay, really rounded. It's a really strong representation of the structure of who am I, what's my suitability and value, and what do I want, and what can I do? Okay, and particularly aligning that around the customer retention issue, I thought was very strong. Okay, thanks, Jessica. So I told you to be a quick lead into the next session. So I'm not sure what time we're at now. We're at 4:09. So we'll probably take 20 minutes maximum on this one, Jessica. And if we can go into the same group. So essentially, again, we're trying to work from your SWOT analysis, say, who am I, my suitability and value, and my career goals. If you go on to the next slide as well, you know, we're extracting that value from the SWOT. I want you to write as much as you can around your personal statement as possible. Might even try and get input from some of the colleagues within the group, and learn from how we frame each other's value. Okay, so with that, I'll hand over to Jessica and see if you can assign us back to the same groups, and look forward to seeing you back in 20 minutes. Okay, hi folks, welcome back. Listen, I'm sorry we've gone slightly over time. You know, this is a new format for us, and we're trialing it. So certainly we were stretched within our group. I don't know how everybody else got on to try and get there.
Too much fun, yeah.
Yeah, we're having a lot of fun with it. But as I said to my group, the opportunity to engage with you all one-on-one is there. Ditto, that commitment's there for Naya with her group and Aisling with her group. Yeah. So what we got to is just what I am confident we got to is an understanding of where our strengths lie, that opportunities, threats, and other areas can be captured as value, that your value is not static, and that we need to match it. Okay, so I hope you're able to populate some or all of those boxes, listen and learn to how the discussions and how we learned from each other and framed each other's value, and understand the general concepts. Okay, so I think just in terms of the summary, what I would say is, you know, we all have value. I think we've established that. There's no one without value. I'm not in the habit of telling people they're wrong, but if someone tells me they have no value, I will immediately say you are wrong. Okay. So it's important, like I said, to capture the your value for employers. Nobody's going to do it for you, so we've got to do it together. So let's use the opportunity with myself, Naya, and Aisling to get that framed right for you. And then as you apply for individual roles, you hopefully have the confidence to tweak it slightly to the job description and maybe even to the strategy of the organization. Okay. So like I said, this is a trial, and we may not have got there completely in terms of the statement, but we've got some way. Okay. So don't panic. We're still here. Really looking forward to engaging with you. I've just said to my group, you know, Naya is same, and Aisling. We work in HR. We're passionate about people. We enjoy working in this space. It's a pleasure for us. So please, if you want us to finish this out with you, please just engage with us. I'm hoping that one of the Open Doors crew, be it Jessica or Patrick or whoever, will be able to, one, share the final slide, which has our respective email addresses, but secondly, based on the breakout rooms, share our email addresses for everybody. So thanks a mil. I'm conscious of the time, so I just want to close up to say thanks for Patrick and Christabel and Jessica who supported the process today. Really privileged to be asked to support this, and look forward to any questions you have. Conscious again of the time, though, we're happy to stay on. Well done. Wish you every success in the journey as you go, and hope to engage with you one-on-one in these sessions. And remember, my final piece of advice, which I mentioned earlier on, when you're at interview, just don't forget to say that you want the job. Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone. I'll take any questions.
Just a comment rather than a question. I found that really good. I've gone to a few different types of ones, but I just thought it was excellent. I think people get great value. I personally got value out of it. I work with young, deaf and hard of hearing people, so I would definitely be promoting it. They may have missed the first session, but if they could see the recorded one and then join, I just thought it was so good. Really, really good. Thanks very much.
Good. Well, look, any feedback you have as well, like I said, this is a trial. We developed the content. It's bespoke. We tried to keep it as simple as possible. There are learnings for us in terms of the timings. I could have spent so much time with my group, and I look forward hopefully to engaging with them one-on-one. So look, it's a learning process, as probably will be the next two sessions you'll do on the CV and cover letter, and then the networking and LinkedIn. But it's a great time for you guys to be engaging on this. I wish I'd done it earlier on in my career as well. So thanks for the feedback, Laura. Appreciate it. Okay.
I'll just jump in as well, Frank, and just say again, thank you so much to yourself, Naya, and Aisling for today's session. As you say, it's a new thing that we're trying to do here today, and it from our end, from my perspective, it's been really, really great to jump into the groups, to see all the to see the conversations here, what was going on. Again, as you said about yourself, something I would have loved to have had earlier in my career. I've been looking to have it at different points that I've always found it really helpful and beneficial. And I'm sure everyone else, I hope everyone else has today as well. So thank you guys so much for getting this CV skills series off to a fantastic start. And I hope everyone here will join me in thanking you and appreciating all the work you did. And I hope as well that everyone, just to say that, this is the first of 3 sessions. We have 2 more over the next 2 weeks. Our next will be on Monday around CV building, and then the following week around LinkedIn profiles and networking. So those links are available to sign up as well online. I will circulate that in an email, as well as the contact emails for the IDA gang to your breakout groups later on. So just again, thank you all for today, and we'll hopefully see you again in the not too distant future.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
you
you.
all.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Great to meet you.